Hey guys, what's going on? This is Snacks Thoughts. Welcome again to Snacks Thoughts. And what is my thought today? Well, my thought today is be ready to transition. Be ready to transition. Yes. And this episode is my Friday night chit chat. Yes, indeed. Friday night chit chat. But be ready to transition. And why do I say be ready to transition? Well, obviously, we know we got the COVID-19 going with this coronavirus. But not just that. It's also that what this pandemic exposed. This pandemic exposed a lot of flaws and weaknesses in these societies globally and also these economies. And for the sake, I want to hone in on the United States. I want to focus on the United States. But you can look and see that the feds are buying up everything. Unemployment is skyrocketed, and it's only going to go further. You have people dropping like flies. And granted, even though through the social distancing and some of the other practices, in some cases they've been able to slow it down, but this economy, you can see it's just falling apart. Small businesses can't hold up. Obviously the big businesses are going for the bailouts, and even then you still don't know which one of these big businesses are going to wind up being insolvent. Which ones are finally going to collapse to the floor. I myself have no idea how long the federal government is going to be able to continue the stimulus package, and it comes to a point where it's like, okay, if President Trump says that he plans on opening everything back up or letting people out back at the end of May, myself, personally, I think this might go on for another 90 days. That's what I think. So don't quote me on that. But my point is this: when we do come through this, after all the debt that our government is racking up, there's no free lunches, and there will definitely be a price to pay. And us as taxpayers, I believe that us and probably the generations afterward are going to pay. But I believe that America and even globally, I believe that we should be ready to transition and be ready to morph into something else or into change. I don't believe that this society and life as we know it, I don't believe it's going to be quite the same. I think there's going to be a lot of changes that are going to happen. And I definitely believe that with this fall, which they're saying we're in a recession now, I believe it's a depression. But I believe that people are seriously reevaluating. And when we do come out of this, I believe that there's going to be a different consciousness or awareness, and people are going to think differently and have a different perspective on life. And they're going to more or less set their priorities as to what's really important, and what's not. And because of the devastation that's happening right now to this economy, I believe there's going to be some serious changes. I don't think that what we're going through right now, that you can go through this and a nation and a society come out and be the same as it was. I don't believe that. So what I would say, for those, hang in there and be ready to transition. I don't believe the job market or any of that is ever going to be the same again. This right here probably would be a good time for them to probably slide in automation even more. Because logically speaking, corporations may say, well, hey, robots don't get sick. All you have to do is replace parts. And they had already instituted automation, or AI was already instituted. But now this may give cause to even faster thrust us into the AI age. Then there's something called the universal basic income. And so with this stimulus package that they're doing, I'm not sure. They may go to some type of universal basic income. This is worldwide. They may go to a universal basic income to ensure that the citizens of their country that may not return back to work or whatever, that they have some form of income coming in. These are just things I'm just throwing out there, and these are actual factual things that have been mentioned. Now, you don't hear about the universal basic income too much on mainstream media. They kind of brush by it. But it is something that is being considered. And from what I understood, they ran a pilot program, I believe, I think they might have tried a little bit on UBI, Chicago, UBI, Stockton, certain areas. They're just running test pilots. The certain governments, Sweden had ran a pilot program. Brazil, don't quote me on this, but they, I guess on the sly or on the low, running a pilot program to see how it worked. And so, who knows, but I don't believe things are going to ever be the same when we come through this. So in my own opinion, I expect change. And so all I'm saying is, to you guys is just, be ready to transition. Educational schooling, the way they do it may never be the same again. Maybe we're getting ready to transition into going into a lot of things being done online. Because we're all in lockdown right now. And with the exception of those that are considered to be mission essential. And then you do have individuals that are, they're teleworking. So all of that is automation. So maybe this right here may be the new way of doing things. I'm not quite sure, but in my opinion, I think there's more to this pandemic and everything that's going on. I think there's something attached to it, and I say behind the scenes that I believe they're going to come out with something. Maybe it's a global reset. It's something to think about. But I would say to all of you, be ready to transition. Things don't stay the same. We obviously didn't expect, I guess you could say, a plague or a virus. Something like this to happen, and to cause a change so quickly. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect it. I knew that the economy wasn't great, and that we were definitely headed for a recession. But I didn't think that things would come to a halt and like a bang this fast. But I do believe there's some type of transition that the world is going through, and so. All I say, be prepared for change. Don't expect things to be the same that they were as before we went into this crisis. Be ready for change. And if you can have a mindset to rethink some things and see what it is that you can possibly transition into to be a better fit for whatever this new age that they're getting ready to usher in, because I believe there's going to be something ushered in. I don't know exactly what they're getting ready to do, but I believe something is going to go down. But that's all I have to say on my Friday night chit chat and for this podcast. But it's something to think about. Consider it. Be ready for transition, because they're not going to be the same as we knew them. Be ready for transition. And that transition, whatever that means to you, prepare for it. And I know what it means for me. But be ready to transition and for change. That's all I have on this Friday night chit chat. This is Snacks Thoughts. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Please share it and subscribe to the podcast. You can find me on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, Anchor, Radio Public. There's other social media platforms that you can find my podcast on. But again, this is Snacks Thoughts. And the podcast channel is SNAKZTHOUGHTS, Snacks Thoughts. And my podcast does connect to YouTube and Twitter also. But check me out, share the word. Thanks, guys. I have a YouTube channel also, Eric Broadus YouTube. That's EricBroadus YouTube, or Eric Broadus YouTube.com. So go over there and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share that. Tap the bell. Leave some comments and share it, guys. All right? And I would love to dialogue and look forward to hanging out with you again. Peace.